pages. Chronicles, Gospels, prophets, sages. Leviticus, laws to Paul's fine phrases. Turning them corners, no spiritual mazes. Genesis to Revelation, so divine. Flip them scripts, endless grace you'll find. Psalms singing sweet, unbroken lines. Hitting that rhythm, wordplay refined. Anybody in here blessed? Anybody in here blessed? Bible in 1 year, we don't rest. Anybody in here blessed? Wake up early, the dawn's light shimmers. Spiritual breakfast, soul food dinners. Isaiah's vision, Ezekiel's figures. Walk through the fire, no one limbers. Kings and judges, prophets profound. Plowing the word, no mythical ground. Verse after verse, wisdom's bound. Heavenly soundtrack, soul serving sound. Anybody in here blessed? Anybody in here blessed? Bible in 1 year, we don't rest. Anybody in here blessed? No shortcuts, all divine routes. Listen to the whispers, no room for doubt. Parables drop stronger than gold faucets. Souls hydrated from divine prophets. Study the book, change perspectives. Carefully crafted, not too subjective. A year to reflect, learning perfect. Patterns of grace that time can't deflect. Old Testament drops deep and so real. Kings and warriors, covenant seals. Split that Red Sea, divine reveal. Commandments written, not made of steel. Bethlehem birth to cross on the hill. Unfolding the nappy blessings, pastor with skill. Scripture flip, every verse fulfilled.
Through the word, every verse, every chapter, nothing unheard. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed. Yo, online sermons, holy vibes delivered. Spreading light, got the sinners reconsidered. Psalm to psalm, man's like a holy DJ. Flipping through scripture, repping the Yahweh. Your emotes in the chat, praising the message. Flat cap on point, teaching eternal lessons. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed. Digital pulpit, preaching like a pro. Followers grow as the faith overflow. Keyboard clicks, holy words they stick. Raining blessings down with a slick rhyme trick. Virtual congregation, united in devotion. 1 year strong, a spiritual promotion. He's a life coach with divine instructions. Streaming holiness, no room for interruption. Flat cap changed the game, new pastoral fame. Virtual shepherd, he's embracing the mainframe. In the comments, affirmatives and amens. With each Goliath tackled, faith extends. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Yo, online sermons, holy vibes delivered. Spreading light, got the sinners reconsidered. Psalm to psalm, man's like a holy DJ. Flipping through scripture, repping the Yahweh. Your emotes in the chat, praising the message. Flat cap on point, teaching eternal lessons. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Digital pulpit, preaching like a pro. Followers grow as the faith overflow. Keyboard clicks, holy words they stick. Raining blessings down with a slick rhyme trick. Virtual congregation, united in devotion. 1 year strong, a spiritual promotion. He's a life coach with divine instructions. Streaming holiness, no room for interruption. Flat cap changed the game, new pastoral fame. Virtual shepherd, he's embracing the mainframe. In the comments, affirmatives and amens. With each Goliath tackled, faith extends. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. 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 Digital pulpit, preaching like a pro. Followers grow as the faith overflow. Keyboard clicks, holy words they stick. Raining blessings down with a slick rhyme trick.
Flat cap pass faster, dashing through pages. Chronicles, Gospels, prophets, sages. Leviticus, laws to pause, find phrases. Turning them corners, no spiritual mazes. Genesis to Revelation, so divine. Flip them scripts, endless grace you'll find. Songs singing sweet, unbroken lines. Hitting that rhythm, wordplay refined. Anybody in here blessed? Anybody in here blessed? Bible in 1 year, we don't rest. Anybody in here blessed? Wake up early, the dawn's light shimmers. Spiritual breakfast, soul food dinners. Isaiah's vision, Ezekiel's figures. Walk through the fire, no one limbers. Kings and judges, prophets profound. Plowing the word, no mythical ground. Verse after verse, wisdom's bound. Heavenly soundtrack, soul serving sound. Anybody in here blessed? Anybody in here blessed? Bible in 1 year, we don't rest. Anybody in here blessed? No shortcuts, all divine routes. Listen to the whispers, no room for doubt. Parables drop stronger than gold faucets. Souls hydrated from divine prophets. Study the book, change perspectives. Carefully crafted, not too subjective. A year to reflect, learning perfect. Patterns of grace that time can't deflect. Old Testament drops deep and so real. Kings and warriors, covenant seals. Split that Red Sea, divine reveal. Commandments written, not made of steel. Bethlehem birth to cross on the hill. Unfolding the never blessings, pastor with skill. Scripture flip, every verse fulfilled.
Through the word, every verse, every chapter, nothing unheard. Everybody in here blessed. I'm blessed.
Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. So it's oh, Floofy Monster with the raid. All right, let's get some raid hype. Get some raid hype. Welcome in, Floofy Monster. We've shrunk from grounded to join. Black Cap Dapper Fast Star Tuesday. Time to learn how the Israelites survived in the wilderness. Let's get biblical. That's fun. That's fun. Welcome in, Floofy Monster. Good to see you, Papstio. I don't know if everyone here did see or hear about the banning going on yesterday with Twitch, with people that had too many people in their chat not chatting and apparently being identified as bots because they had been there for a while and said nothing. But that's not cool. So I'm going to probably put a command in at some point, just kind of like, please type something once you get here. So Raiders, if you are going over at other places, just be kind, hashtag or exclamation point, lurk in the chat, and, you know, just let people know you're actually there so that the streamer doesn't have problems. Because, like I said, I saw a bunch of bans happening yesterday and people posting all over that perma-ban for bots in the chat, and they really probably did not have bots in the chat. They can't tell the difference between real bots and real lurkers, so that's a problem. All right, so welcome in, Fluffy Monster. Hope you had a great day. You're at the end of your day, so I hope it was great. At least I think I'm right. Anyway, those coming in, if you've never been here before, I am Flat Cat Dapper Pastor. I have hats, I have fish, and we read the Bible. We do other things, but that's the bulk of what we are going to be doing here on stream. So thank you for joining me. You do not have to believe everything that I believe. In fact, the chances are that you probably do not. I've never met anybody that believed 100% of everything that I believe. Almost 2 p.m. here, so lunchtime. Okay, I thought it was a little bit later than that, but still good, my friend. Still good. Glad to have you here. So anyway, you're welcome here. You're welcome to hang out. You agree, disagree, does not matter. We just want to treat each other with love and respect. And if we can do that, we're going to have a good time together. So, all right. Bum, 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 bum. You know what? Let me just quickly show you the fishies. Why not? Why not take a peek at the beautiful fish? So we've got a couple of those, and there's people a little bit concerned about my fish channel over here. So if you do go and check out the fish channel, well, make sure and you drop alert in there so that nothing nefarious happens to me. Appreciate you. You're 6 or 7 hours ahead of you. I thought it was more than that. Whatever. You know, all good. Either way, it's fun to be able to connect with people around the globe. So, all right. Bum, 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 bum. Oh, why do I have it on this one? We don't need this one. We don't need no stinking badges. Not the right thing, but anyway. Okay, so Deuteronomy is where we are today. So, yeah, pay attention. So, did not announce this if you hadn't been here or I didn't have a promo. So, tomorrow, podcast at noon. I was just looking. It looks like it says 17 p.m. It's 12 p.m. So, noon tomorrow, podcast on the Church Digital channel with Pastor Coco. Today at 10 o'clock, we will have podcast on the Church Digital with One Reason. So, got a couple of those going on, but I got to the point where, boy, I got caught up, and if I didn't get one recorded this week, there would not be one to post next week. So I did have a month ahead, and then with a couple of breaks in there of not having a podcast and then switching over to new computer and getting that set up and having a week or two off, woo, we got to get caught up. So 2 this week, that'll give me a little bit of breathing room that if I need a week off or I can't schedule one for a week, they'll still go out on YouTube at the regular interval of every Thursday morning. We drop a new podcast. Okay. So Deuteronomy 15 is where we are. Okay. This is one of the most fascinating things, I think, in Scripture, that we don't have any evidence that they ever did this. The end of every 7 years, you must declare a cancellation of debts. Shemitah is derived from the verse to release, to relinquish, refers to cancellation of debts and even pledges for debt of a borrower by his creditors. This could be a full or final remission, or more likely, one for the 7th year only. Oh, so like it's just a year off? That's not how I've ever seen it. Here the words of debts are not in the Hebrew, the relaxation of debts, remission of debts. So they're just trying to emphasize. Lucy's welcome in. Artsy Bible nerd, hello. Hello. Okay. I find this idea fascinating. Every 7 years, the cancellation of debts. I believe that one of the, the bankruptcy policies do have a foundation in this idea of cancellation of debts. And then you have credit ratings where they will go back, and then if you're filling out credit reports, they'll ask you if you've declared bankruptcy in the last 7 years. So there's the idea of being able to have debts forgiven every 7 years. And so that ends up being a part of our current systems of things. Oh, by the way, if you are interested, Big Unk is doing a fast this week and prayer for back to school. And I'm hearing more people have kids going back to school this week than I knew. But I have no kids in school, so I don't know. Let me change the focus, noticing that is wrong. There we go. So I'm not picking on anyone here, so not asking this question because I'm looking for answers, but just thinking through the bankruptcy issues and concerns around that of declaring bankruptcy. I don't think people take that as a light thing. I think some people treat it like people that declare bankruptcy treat it lightly. But here, the Bible has really intense teachings around forgiveness of debts. Oh, there's one reason. We'll be podcasting with one reason at 10 o'clock. So 2 hours from now, we'll be on the Church Digital with the podcast with one reason. So I just find that interesting that here it is. There is no historical proof or evidence that Israel ever practiced this. So Moses institutes this. They go into the land, and then there's no proof they ever did it. So when we go into exile, it's for the land that did not get its Sabbath year rest. So this has to do with connecting with the Sabbath year rest, which I could see why they would say is in the 7th year, you cancel the debt of the 7th year would make some sense. However, some of the other parts of leading to how you loan money based on where you are in relationship to the 7th years makes it maybe not feel that way, in my opinion. But anyway, okay. This is the nature of the cancellation. Every creditor must remit what he has loaned to another person. He must not force payments from his fellow Israelites, for it is to be recognized as the Lord's cancellation of debt. So God has canceled your debts. You don't owe God, you owe someone else, but God is the one canceling your debts every 7 years. You must exact payment from a foreigner, whatever your fellow Israelites owes, you must remit. So foreigners, you can continue to charge foreigners, but you cannot charge Israelites. Every 7 years, boom, debt's forgiven. However, there should not be any poor among you, for the Lord will surely bless you in the land that he gives you as an inheritance. So you can't exploit foreigners to the point that they end up poor. There must be no poor in the land. What's the footnote here? Okay, that's just on the for the Lord. Okay. I want to go look up the word for poor here. 15. Ebyon. Masculine singular. Okay. Ebyon.
Strong's H34.
In want, needy, chiefly poor, needy person, subject to oppression and abuse, needing help, derived from deliverance from trouble, general reference to the lowest class. Okay, thou shalt not rest the judgment of thy poor in his cause. That's a weird phrase. In the 7th year you shall let it rest and not... Okay, so this is also then used for the poor when we're talking in Exodus there. of being able to go into the land and take food from you. Okay. There shall not be any poor among you. Can you imagine a nation that sets out to have that as a epitaph? There are no poor among us. There are none. We take care of everybody. Nobody is poor. Wouldn't that be cool? So even though you have to relinquish what's owed to you, and rightfully owed to you, you relinquish it. You give up your rights. And then, when you can still collect from your foreigners who live among you, you can't make them poor. You cannot exploit them into poverty. Oh, okay. Interesting. If you carefully obey him by keeping all these commands that I am giving you today, for the Lord your God will bless you just as he has promised. You will lend to many nations, but you will not borrow from any. And you will rule over many nations, but they will not rule over you. So the practice of borrowing and lending is supposed to make it so that you don't have to borrow from anyone else. If you have the practice of forgiving debts to your fellow Israelites, then you, as Israel, will not need to borrow from other nations. And if you are not exploiting the poor, and if you are forgiving those among you so that they have their debts forgiven, then other nations will borrow from you. So it's just a fascinating reciprocation here of you treat your fellow Israelite in a certain way, and God will oversee the level at which the nation is going to flourish. I find that fascinating. And then even more so, what if they had actually done it? What would have happened? If, if a fellow Israelite from one of your villages in the land that the Lord your God is giving you should be poor, you must not harden your heart or be insensitive to his impoverished condition. So do not be callous or withdraw your hand, being sensitive from your needy brother. So if it ends up that someone is poor among you, don't harden your heart or be insensitive. Wow. I kind of think that a lot of people have hard hearts against the poor, and they are insensitive to them. Instead, you must be sure to open your hand to him and generously lend him whatever he needs. Okay. Be sure to generously and repeatedly. This would be why Peter's asking, how many times must I forgive my brother? He owes me. How many times? Whatever his need that he needed for himself, the redundant expression is not gone for stylistic. Okay. Be careful lest you entertain the wicked thought that in the 7th year, the year of cancellations of debts, has almost arrived, and your attitude be wrong toward your impoverished fellow Israelite, and you do not lend him anything. He will cry out to the Lord against you, and you will be regarded as having sinned. And it will be sin to you. Okay. You must by all means lend to him and not be upset by doing it, for because of this, the Lord your God will bless you in all your work and in everything you attempt. There will never cease to be some poor people in the land. Wait a minute. He just said there must be no poor among you. And I think this is Cat Jam. Welcome in, Supersonic. The command earlier is not a perpetual class of people who are in poverty. Those must not be there. There must not be indebted or generational poverty. So in order to stop generational poverty, sure, some people are going to end up into poverty, but we restore people out of poverty every 7 years. We take away the debts that they have so that they can have a fresh start. And when someone needs something, you always loan to them. You always give to your fellow Israelites so that they can get elevated out of the statuser. And we are not going to leave our fellow brothers and sisters in that state. That's what we're to not do. Therefore, I am commanding you to make sure you open your hand to your fellow Israelites who are needy and poor in your land. So always going to be doing that. That's the constant. Since we're kind of talking about that, how about I just put up past the cap for right now of what we got going on. So Soaring Eagle. Many of you may know Soaring Eagle. She is working to try to get Olaf set up as an emotional support animal. So when she goes to the doctor's office and other places, Olaf is able to go with. So she thought she had it all set up to be able to do things, and now found out that all of the shots have to be up to date. And so we're trying to help support her and get the money so that Olaf can be fully vetted and all the way set up to be an emotional support animal. So if you'd like to give, there's the link. Bum, 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 bum. If your fellow Hebrew, whether male or female, is sold to you and serves you for 6 years, then in the 7th year you must let the servant go free. Elsewhere in the Old Testament, the Israelites are called Hebrews by outsiders, rarely by themselves. Thus, here and in the parallel passage, the term Hebrew may designate non-Israelite, specifically a person well known throughout the ancient Near East. Haberu. They lived in a rather vagabond lifestyle, frequently hiring themselves out as laborers or mercenaries. While accounting nicely for the surprising use of the term here, in the Israelite law code, the suggestion has against it the unlikelihood to set laws would address such a marginal people so specifically, as opposed to simply calling them aliens or the like. More likely, Hebrew is chosen as a term to remind Israel that when they were Hebrews, that is, they were in Egypt, they were slaves. Now that they are free, they must not keep their fellow Israelites in bondage. Yeah, that makes sense to me there. All right, we have ads. Should be coming in shortly. So let's get up and stretch.
Flat Cat Pastor rocks his tweet, streaming life by the
Olaf is a cat. Olaf is a cat, Lucis.
fish pond calm and glassy clear. View it all right from here. Dapper man with sax in hand plays tunes by his quiet land. Acoustic guitar in the breeze serenades the fish with ease. Watch the fish, they swim along to the rhythm of his song. Flat Cat Pastor shows the way, stream it live come what may. With his cam he shows it all, little fish both big and small. Life in pond so serene, nature's beauty on a screen. See the ripples, watch the flow, hear the music, gentle glow. Flat Cap's charm and calming tone makes the fish feel right at home. Watch the fish, they swim along to the rhythm of his song. Flat Cat Pastor shows the way, stream it live come what may.
Olaf would be a weird name for a snake, I think, but I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe you've met a snake named Olaf. I would think Loki would be a better snake name than Olaf. Okay, so here's one of those things where we get into, oh, wait, there is laws here about slavery. Does that mean that the Bible is endorsing slavery? The rules in some of the places here in Deuteronomy are limitations on things. Just because you have a rule that there's a limitation doesn't mean that there's an endorsement of certain behavior. Your imagination got the best of you. Here I was imagining Flat Cap as a koi of his. So anyway, the like if you're trying to limit things, for instance, as a parent of teenagers, I was not trying to endorse underage drinking. But I made it clear to my kids, if they were ever in a situation that they were unsafe, or the people they were unsafe with, or they were with, were unsafe to drive, that they could call, no questions asked, and I would come get them. So I would rather have them have that knowledge that if decisions were made that ended up being poor decisions, I was available to get them out of the situation instead of them making more poor decisions that could lead to more poor outcomes. So just because you set up rules around something that makes it permissible for something to happen does not mean you're endorsing it. So this is not, I don't think, an endorsement of slavery. It is a recognition that in the society, in the surrounding societies in which they live, it is a common occurrence that happens. And also in some ways, there is some mercy, and I say some, not entirely. There is some mercy in when you had no means to provide for yourself because your people were conquered, rather than you being put to death, you could serve as a slave. There was some mercy in that. I'm not saying it's total mercy. I'm just saying some. And then in some places, slavery was not for life. It wasn't chattel slavery. You would have a way to earn your freedom. So, yep, with anything, there's abuse. With anything, there's exploitation possible. People will find it and they will do it. So here, there is provisions to limit exploitation. That's what I see happening here. There are limitations on exploitation. The same way an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth is in the Bible is not to say retribution is what you need. It is to say justice is only going up to the point of injury. Justice is not going beyond that. Like, you kill one of mine, I'll kill 10 of yours. No, we're not having that. So a lot of times what we might look at and seeing as rules on things we're obligated to do, they are limits on things so that we do not go beyond a standard measure into cruelty. That's what I see. So if, if you set them free, let me see what the hell on the go free. Oh, from you, okay. If you set them free, you must not send them away empty-handed. You must supply them generously from your flock, your threshing floor, and your winepress. As the Lord your God has blessed you, you must give to them. So generously is how you send away a slave. Just J, welcome in. Sorry, Just JD, welcome. What's interesting here, Abraham didn't do that. This is what I think Abraham should have done with Hagar. He should have generously gifted Hagar and Ishmael when he sent them away. But he did not do that. But here we're establishing the practice of that, to send away a slave generously. Oh, also, that's what happened when they came out of Egypt. Egypt gave to them, their neighbors gave to them generously as they left. So, God established this for you. You need to turn around and do this for others if you take them as slaves, well, you're going to send them away with parting gifts. And you get a donkey. And you get a barrel of wine. And here's a bushel of grain. Oh yeah, remember that you were slaves in the land of Egypt, and the Lord your God redeemed you. Therefore, I am commanding you to do this thing today. However, if if the servant says to you, I do not want to leave you, because he loves you and your household, since he is well off with you, you shall take an awl and pierce a hole through his ear to the door. Then he will become your servant permanently. This applies to your female servants as well. Okay, what do we have here to the door? What's the footnote? Okay, the door in question was that of the master's house. In effect, the bond slave is declaring his underlying and lifelong loyalty to his creditor. The scar, or even hole, in the earlobe would testify to the community that the slave had surrendered independence and personal rights. This may be what Paul had in mind when he said, I bear on my body the marks of Jesus. Maybe, or maybe it's from the lashings and the stonings he took. You should not consider it difficult to let him go free, for he will have served you for 6 years. So if someone serves you for 6 years and you let them go free, like, this is not difficult. Let them go. You got 6 years. Twice the time of a hired worker. The Lord your God will bless you in everything you do. The Hebrew word mishneh could mean equivalent to, or more likely double. The idea is that a hired worker would put in only so many hours per day, whereas a bond slave was available around the clock. I was thinking that they were saying that a hired person would only be like a 3-year term, but maybe I'm wrong. You must set apart for the Lord your God every firstborn male to your herd and flock. You must not work the firstborn of your bulls or shear the firstborn of your flock. You and your household must eat them annually before the Lord your God in the place he chooses. So you are going to go and sacrifice and eat. Notice you eat them. Okay, it's not just kill and throw away or kill and burn up. You and your household must eat them annually. There's also, we read in other places about the Levites need to be included in this as well. If, if one of them has any kind of blemish, lameness, that sheep is so lame. It's like, isn't that weird how we don't use the word lame anymore? Like for someone who cannot walk, you know, the word lame, and lame has taken on the connotations of something that's just not hip and cool. Like, I was born lame. Hey, morning, comfy. Blindness or anything else. You may not offer it as a sacrifice to the Lord your God. You may eat it in your villages, whether you are ritually impure or clean. So if it's got a blemish, you can eat it in the village. It can't go to the temple. Just as you would eat gazelle or ibex. So if you're ritually impure or clean in your village, does not matter. You can go ahead and participate. So think about that. The people who are ritually impure or unclean. This would include those who have leprosy, who are perpetually unclean because they have the disease. So you in your village can help those people and celebrate with them. So, like, think about this. A blemished animal can be used to feed people with blemish. And I'm using that word in a term of a distinction. between them. So, not a quality of who they are. However, you must not eat its blood. You must pour it out on the ground like water. So, the blood is returning to the ground. It's interesting that the blood of Abel cried out from the ground, and then symbolically, blood is always poured out and returned to the ground. I'm watching you, people. Welcome in. Ooh, the stroopwafel cookies. I did not have a chance to make the command yet. I was busy with lots of things. Hopefully today or tomorrow, I will work on the command. So, and if not, I think Thursday. So I should be able to get the command made this week and play around with, I did get Mix It Up working. So now I can try to play with that. When I went last week, I couldn't get it working. I got Mix It Up working. So podcast today, podcast tomorrow. We got good stuff happening. Okay. Observe the month of Abib. The month Abib, later called Nisan, corresponds to March, April in the calendar year. It is the first month of the year. Flat Cap Podcast Pastor. A little bit going in that direction. And I'm almost like I had a 4-week, or I should say a 4-episode buffer. And without doing a podcast today or tomorrow, I would not have a podcast for next week. So I've only got like a 1-week buffer. So, which I prefer to have about 3 weeks. So if I take a week off and then I don't get one set up, I'm okay. There's still a regular podcast coming out for those people that watch on YouTube. Okay, So in the month of Abib, and keep the Passover observe the month, the whole month. Keep the Passover the Lord your God, for in that month he brought you out of Egypt by night. You must sacrifice the Passover animal from the flock or the herd to the Lord your God in the place where he chooses to locate his name. You must not... Sorry, lost my place. You must not eat any yeast with it for 7 days. You must eat bread made without yeast, as symbolic of affliction, for you came out of Egypt hurriedly. You must do this so you will remember for the rest of your lives the day you came out of the land of Egypt. There must not be a scrap of yeast within the land for 7 days, nor can any of the meat you sacrifice on the evening of the first day remain until the next morning. If you remember this, they had to... IDJ? Yeah, I'm working on lists of people, so if there's suggestions, I should make a channel for suggestions. But, yeah, good suggestion. You must not sacrifice the Passover in just any of your villages that the Lord your God is giving you. You must sacrifice it in the evening in the place where he chooses to locate his name. At sunset, the time of day you came out of Egypt. You must cook and eat it in the place the Lord your God chooses. Thinking how like God chooses, God, not your choice. It's not your choice. It's where God chooses. You will return the next morning to your tents. You must eat bread made without yeast for 6 days. The seventh day, you are hold an assembly for the Lord your God. You must not do any work on that day. Lou says, no, I have not had any news from Samarilla or Alina. You haven't seen those two on Twitch for weeks. Yeah, I think it's at least 2 weeks. I have not seen them. and I was asking around if anyone had seen them. I've not heard anything from them. I even had direct messaged Lena to see if there was an update. Maybe I should direct message Sam as well. You must count 7 weeks. You must begin to count them from the time you begin to harvest the standing grain. Then you are to celebrate the Feast of Weeks. So 7 being the number of totality, we have 7 days of a festival. Now we have 7 weeks following the 7 days. So if you want to know how we get to Pentecost, it is from the 7 weeks, but 7 weeks times 7 days plus 1 day equals 50. So Pentecost, Penta, 5, 50, Pentecost is how we get from this, we get this celebration, the Feast of Weeks, is Pentecost, the first fruits. Before the Lord, the festival of the week, before the Lord your God, with the voluntary offering that you will bring in proportion to how he has blessed you. So this is a, hey, I feel blessed, I bring more. I think that's a cool thing here. We have the sufficiency of the land in your hand. Yes, a voluntary offering. You shall rejoice before him, you, your son, your daughter, your male and female slaves, the Levites in your villages. Remember the Levites in your villages. These keep getting mentioned. The resident foreigners, the orphans, and the widows among you. So no one is excluded. The poor, the widow, the orphan, and the foreigner are going to be in the celebration. You are to include them. They are to come to the place where God chooses, in the place where the Lord chooses to locate his name. Furthermore, remember that you were a slave in Egypt, so be careful to observe these statutes. You're to teach them to your children because you were slaves. You're to remember that you were slaves, and you're to observe them because you were slaves. Don't forget you were slaves. That I mentioned before, part of what you're to do is remember you were slaves. You did nothing to earn the land. There's nothing of your own doing. God gave it all. So when you are saying, I'm not going to forgive people, it wasn't yours in the first place. You must celebrate the Feast of Shelters for 7 days. This is also called the Feast of Booths. Feast of Huts. Traditionally, the Feast of Tabernacles. The rendering booths is now preferred to the traditional tabernacles. Yeah. But tabernacle is a dwelling. So it's when Jesus comes, he tabernacles among us. It pitches his tent among us. So that would be what we have. So the Feast of Tents or Booths. 7 days at the time of the grain and grape harvest. You are to rejoice in your festival. You, your son, your daughters, your male and female servants, the Levites, the resident foreigners, the orphans, and the widows who are in your villages. You are to celebrate the festival 7 days before the Lord your God in the place he chooses. For he will bless you in all your productivity and in whatever you do. So you will indeed rejoice. 3 times a year, all your males must appear before the Lord your God in the place he chooses for the Feast of Unleavened Bread, the Feast of Weeks, and the Feast of Shelters. And they must not appear before the Lord empty-handed. Every one of you must give as you are able, according to the blessing of the Lord your God that he has given you. You must appoint judges and civil servants for every tribe in all your villages that the Lord your God is giving you, and they must judge the people fairly. You must not pervert justice and show favor. Do not take a bribe, for bribes blind the eyes of the wise and distort the words of the righteous. You must pursue justice alone. so that you may live and inherit the land the Lord your God is giving you. You must not plant any kind of tree as a sacred Asherah pole near the altar of the Lord your God, which you built for yourself. You must not erect a sacred pillar, a thing the Lord your God detests. So the Asherah poles could have been a tree that is alive or otherwise. Sacred pillars, the reference here is to stelea, stone pillars, the Hebrew term matzavah, associated with Baal worship, perhaps to mark a spot hallowed by the alleged visitation of the gods. So you're not to erect sacred pillars of worship, but hey, wait a minute. A pillar is going to be different than a stack of stones. Okay, so I don't know if this is exactly the way to think about it, but if you think of an obelisk, it is a carved pillar that is erected versus stacking stones together. I think that's going to be a different thing. Assassinator Steph! What? What? Welcome in, Raiders! Assassination, let's go! Who do we have coming in? 75 viewers. You are too kind, friend. Remnant RD, welcome in. Rusher Games. YT. Welcome in, Rusher. And Sass, hope you're doing well. Hope you had a great stream. We will take a peek at the fish in just a minute. I should change the name. There are no baby koi at the moment. They're only babies compared to the ones in the pond, but we'll take a look at those just a minute. Yeah, Ike Ben here. Welcome in. Zari Creativity. Is that right, Zari? King's Wagons. Good morning. Welcome in. That right there, swimming by, is Wywis, the albino plecostomus, which you'll often see in one of the tanks behind me. He's over here in the tank you cannot see, but we'll go take a peek at him. Oh, he's going to be off cam right now. Way over on the other side of the tank, so we won't be able to see him. And if you're in my stream and you're not following Assassinator Steph, go give Sass a follow. Great sister, love her. Love what she does. Love her heart for God. Love, just fantastic. And also, she's in Reach Conference as well. So will you hear me talk about that regularly? Great to see you. Hope you had a wonderful, wonderful stream. Thank you, Sass. Also, I've been trying to connect with G-Funk so that we can line up podcast. So, actually, let me look here a second. It's not there. Okay. Anyway, welcome in, everybody. Oh, shoot. I missed it. Ads are coming in. We'll come back. We'll go to fish, and then we'll come back. If you got ads, I apologize. They're coming in. I didn't hit the delay button soon enough, so we'll do the fish. The Devastating Light Beam. Welcome in. So there is the pond in the upper right-hand corner. Let me just go through these. There's the pond with the waterfall.
Acoustic guitar in the breeze serenades the fish with ease.
There is the koi cam. It does have guppies in there as well. I only have 2 koi in the tank right now. They've been getting big, and so they've moved out to the pond. There's a sunrise and sunset cam. And there's the guppy cam. And if you'll notice, Chum Bucket is there with the little guys. Squidward is in the other one, and there's another one that has SpongeBob's house.
See the ripples, watch the flow. Flat cap's charm and calming tone makes the fish feel right at home. Watch the fish, they swim along to the rhythm of his song. Flat cat pastor shows the way, stream it live, come what may.
All right, so we're back. So we did have a claim for the fish, so there they are. I'll go through them one more time. So here we have the guppies with the chum bucket.
Shows it all. Little fish,
Here is the pond where most of the koi are now residing, and I did that. There's the waterfall. It's about 5 feet deep pond. There is Squidward's house, and there's a couple of koi in there if they will show up, and that's where Wywis, the albino plecostomus, resides. And here's where I do sunrise and sunset at my mom's house. So that, plus an underwater cam, is available 24/7 over on my other channel. So hopefully it stays live and it doesn't get banned by Twitch. A bunch of people getting banned yesterday, it seemed like, for having people lurking that were not speaking, and they got assigned to be bots. So I'm guessing it's extra tabs that you leave up on a regular basis to support people are getting counted as not being streamers, or I mean viewers, but being bots. So sorry, anyone who's running into that. Lovely Gabby, you got to go to work, but you love you tons. Sass, yes. Call me or message me if you need anything. Yes. Thank you for coming in, lovely Gabby. Thank you for being here. I knew a Gabby when I coached Gabby in cross country. I don't run into that name often, so welcome in, lovely Gabby. Sass, yes, have a great day. May the joy of the Lord follow you today and give you peace. Oh, yes, justice for Dustin, exactly. Helping our friend Dustin in any way we can. And hopefully he gets his channel back up. Okay, those that do not know me, I have hats. I have fish. I read the Bible. And that's what we're doing right now. We are reading in Deuteronomy. It is Torah Tuesday, so that's one of the first 5 books. The Torah is the 5 books of Moses, the first 5 books of the Old Testament. You're not familiar with it, that's okay. Deuteronomy, not one of the books that gets read a lot. Not a lot of sermons on Deuteronomy. You might know the Shema, Hear, O Israel, the Lord is God, the Lord alone, or the Lord is one. That gets recited a lot, but outside of that, Deuteronomy, not a lot of people spend time in Deuteronomy. So we do a thing that we call, or I call, every day of the week is a different style. So Monday is Messiah Monday. We're reading about Jesus. Torah Tuesday, that's today. Wisdom Wednesday. We are currently, what are we currently reading? Let me go look. I don't know. We started Ecclesiastes is what we are reading. Transform Thursdays, we're talking about things to help transform our lives. And then Friday Favorites. And I don't know what Friday Favorites going to be next. We finished a whole bunch of books here that are my favorite books in the Bible. And I won't be here this Friday. But I do have a podcast coming up at 10 o'clock today with One Reason. So I have another channel that I do podcasts on because one channel is just not enough. So over on the Church Digital, we'll go over there. I wish I could raid from myself over there, but we'll go to the Fish channel. And then if you want to come over to the podcast, we'll come over to the podcast. That's the plan for today. Tomorrow, I'll have a podcast at noon with Pastor Coco from VR MMO Church. So I do podcasts in one place. I do some gaming in there on Monday. Here, I mostly do the Bible. And then I do other things like cooking streams and sewing streams and biking streams. Who knows what I'll do? IRL power washing streams. No power wash simulator for me. I will use the real one. Thank you very much. All right. Hats, Fish, Bible. Succinct personality. Gotcha. Yes. Sass, me and G have been going through some tough battles lately. We can get back to you, I promise. You both have ad and need reminders. Oh, no, yeah, no worries. No worries. it needs to work for you. It needs to work for you. And my plan is just keep working through people that I know. When we have you on, it's going to be a blast. It's going to be fun. So no threat there. Just saying, I've been talking to G-Funk, and he said it was best just to connect with him. So that's all. Yeah, there's a lot more to his personality, but those are his advertised things. Yeah, you know, it gets a little, yeah. I'm watching. I vote for a small workout on Transform Thursdays. You miss watching. You make up different names for the workouts. Yeah. Yeah, DIY streams and koi stream. Oh yeah, that's right. I have done DIY because we did stream the reno of the stream room. I forgot about that. No, it wasn't a bad joke. It was all good. It's all good. Okay, so those who are coming in, I think I shared everything. Oh, one more thing that we do here. We do a thing called passing the cap. So this is just information for you if you've not been here before. So we pass the cap to help others who have need. Just as the early Christian community would take a collection and help those with need, we do the same thing. So whether you know someone with a need or you yourself have a need, we within the community like to help and support people as we are able. So right now we're passing the cap for Soaring Eagle, who is working to get her cat Olaf to be an emotional support animal, going through all of that work, and just found out, well, she's got to get all the shots up to date. So she's working on that. So we're trying to collect a small amount. $250 is the goal down there. If you're so inclined to help and assist, that will go to her to help her be able to get emotional support animals. So when she goes to the doctor's office, her cat is able to go with her. Yeah, G-Funk gets less messages to go through. Yours is a little overwhelming at times, and your introvert self procrastinates. I understand that. Yes, he is a way to get through to you and us in general. Yep. All right. So those who are coming in that don't know Deuteronomy at all, and by the way, questions are always welcome. Side conversations are always a blessing here. There is no agenda of we have to get something done. No, it is we have discussions, we have conversations, we're in the Bible, we're enjoying the conversation together. You have something to add, you add it. You have questions about it, you ask questions. You have something that sparks in your mind, totally unrelated, then you do that. What does Deuteronomy mean again? Good question. I don't remember. Deuteronomy means second law. Second law. That's interesting. I don't remember looking it up in here. Is it, I'm just going to check. Is it, usually the books are the first word in the sentence. I mean, in the book. Ele Debar Aser Moses Debar El Kol. Okay, so it's not there. I wondered if that was. It's not. Anyway, so the people have been wandering. They've come out of Mongoose 24. Welcome in. Hello. The people who come out of Egypt, traveling with Moses, wander in the desert, all of that. They're about ready to finally go into the land after 40 years. And Moses is giving them a recap of everything that has happened. So he starts out all the way back with the plague. And remember what happened. Remember what we did. And then this happened. So Moses has been telling the whole story of what they are or what they have gone through. Then he's shifting to the promises they need to make. And now he's going into the instructions of what they're to do when they get in the land. So he's going from the past to the present to the future. And so Deuteronomy is a recap of everything that we would have read elsewhere. So it is Moses' retelling of the story. Hope that makes sense. So those coming in and going, where are we at? We are in chapter 17 now. And we were just going over a bunch of festivals because God wants us to celebrate and have a good time. Yeah, it's in the Bible. There are 3 festivals where you're required to come to the place that God will designate and celebrate for a week. Oh my goodness, I really like this idea of celebrating for a week. I have never done a week-long celebration. I think it should be the way we do. Like 4th of July, no! The week of July. You know, something like that. I don't know what to call it otherwise. Thanksgiving week. Christmas, the 12 days. Let's do all of them. Yeah, Ike been here. Have a blessed lurk and day. Yes, thank you. Everyone, thank you for the lurks. And yes, if you hadn't heard of people being banned, please make sure when you get rated and you see that you're rated somewhere else, throw a message, an emote, a lurk, just to help out streamers not get hit with the bot problems. Yeah, Ike been here. Oh, because Deuteronomy is like a recap of the law. That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, it's a total recap of everything that has happened to the people. Okay. You must not sacrifice to him a bull or a sheep that has a blemish or other defect, because that is considered offensive to the Lord your God. Let me see what word we have here. Yes, the Hebrew word eva, an abomination, describes a person, thing, or practices offensive to ritual or moral order. So, abhorrent. The devastating light beam. I love you all. God bless. Can't lurk, but you got your support by. Hey, thank you. And I know not everyone can. So, appreciate you coming over and sticking with the raid. Thank you for being here. Thanks for the follows. Happy Thorns throwing down the he is risen. He is risen indeed. So I wanted to stop on this word a minute. So let's go look it up. So 17 verse 1. This is a good thing to go look up because you will hear people talk about certain things being an abomination to God. Ooh, what's up, bud? Splashing around in there for some reason. Okay. Tuabe.
Strong's
Probably got
H,
that one wrong.
8441. To'eva.
A disgusting thing. Abomination. Abominable. The abominable snowman. In a ritual sense of unclean food, idols, mixed marriages, and an ethical sense of wickedness. So, one of the problems with the word is that how can we quantify and classify things that are an abomination to God when what this is offering something that's second class? It's an animal with a blemish. So if you have a sheep that's born blind, rather than, taking and raising the sheep and all of that, you're not going to get much money for it. It's not worth anything. So you give that one to God. It's like, I'm not having seconds. I'm not getting leftovers from you. I don't take leftovers, so to speak. So you need to give God your best. You give God the first. We had just done that. If you weren't here, we just went through the first of your flock are to be given to God. And you can't give those with blemish to God in the place where you're supposed to go. So the word here, abomination, is also tied to certain sins. But if just the fact of offering a secondary sacrifice is an abomination, how are we to understand that? Is it the practice of it that's the abomination? Or is it the heart behind why you're choosing to do it? I'm going to go do this because I can't get any value out of this animal that has a born with, blind. So I'm going to sacrifice it. It ain't worth anything, but I'll give it to God. I'm not blessing God, and I'm not giving out abundance. I am giving out of trying to get credit for something that is not what I'm actually doing. Okay, let's see where the first usage of the word is. And if you don't know, usually one of the things that I like to do is go look at where the first usage of the word is. That first use impacts our understanding of the word throughout the rest of Scripture. Okay, and they set on for him by himself, and for them by themselves, and for the Egyptians, which did not eat with him by themselves, because the Egyptians might not eat bread with the Hebrews, for that is an abomination unto the Hebrews. So it's detestable. They loathe it. They will not permit themselves to eat with the Hebrews. Why? Because the Hebrews to them are unclean people. So it's first used of the Egyptians' attitude towards the Hebrews. That's where we first have the use of it, is here, and then repeated in Exodus, or in Genesis is where it is. And then in Exodus, it's used of the Egyptians watching or participating in the sacrifice that Moses says we're going to worship to our God. It'd be an abomination to you. So we can't do it here. We can't worship in the land. We can't sacrifice in the land. Our practices are an abomination to you. They are not pleasing in your sight. I think that's really the thing that we can look at. It is it pleasing in the sight of, does it bring you joy or pleasure, or is it revulsive to you? Repulsive, I should say. So, hope that makes sense there. Because that word gets thrown around of certain sins and elevated. Here, just a sacrifice that's a blemish is detestable to God. So it's a heart problem that I think we're dealing with. Okay. Queen, I heard about the issues where lurkers are being flagged as bot. It's horrible. Yeah, it is. So, I'm just trying to be cautious of that. And so I restarted my 24-hour stream a couple of times yesterday and made sure any of the channels that I have watching it, I was !lurk in there to show that they're active in there. And I think I'm probably going to do that more often in the current short term of stop and start the stream so that any bots that are in there might get booted. But I don't know if that's going to be helpful or not. Okay, so a sheep or a bull given with blemish, with a defect, it's an offense to God. Suppose a man or a woman is discovered among you in one of your villages that the Lord your God is giving you, who sins before the Lord your God and breaks his covenants by serving other gods and worshiping them, the sun, the moon, or any other heavenly bodies that I have not permitted you to worship. Okay, so the situation is someone is breaking the covenant to worship only God, and they're worshiping other gods. When it is reported to you and you hear about it, you must investigate carefully. If it is indeed true that such a disgraceful thing is being done in Israel, you must bring to your city gates the man or woman who has done this wicked thing, that very man or woman, and you must stone the person or that person to death. Yeah. Stone them with stones so they die. Throw stones at the person until he dies. I just was listening to a podcast that was talking about the idea of stoning and whether there was connections there with certain things. Like we don't know how Abel or Cain killed Abel, but what if it's stone and there's a rationale of stone? Or the fact that you're made from dust, and so of the ground is how you're going to return to the ground. Something along those lines. And I thought that was an interesting thought. Okay, so anyway, you must stone them. At the testimony of 2 or 3 witnesses, the person must be executed. So this is always one of these weird things. Why do they say 2 or 3? 2 or 3. Why not just say 2 witnesses? Why not say 3 witnesses? Why say or? There's this interesting thing about that, and I think it's because you're supposed to use discretion. Sometimes 2 witnesses may not be enough. You might need 3. Sometimes 2 witnesses are not going to be found to be good enough witnesses. You might need 3. Anyway, they can be put to death, they cannot be put to death on the testimony of only one witness. The witness must be first to begin, the witnesses must be the first to begin the execution, and then all the people are to join in afterwards. So, if you are witness to the person doing it, you are the first ones to cast stones. So does this make any sense when Jesus asks, let those who are without sin cast the first stone? The people who are witnesses, the people who are giving testimony against the woman are the ones to cast the first stone. I am the witness that you did the thing wrong that I say that you did, and therefore you must die. I get to cast the first stone. Why? Because if I'm lying, then what I'm doing by casting the first stone is murdering you by my false testimony, and the guilt of your murder is on my hand because I perpetrated it. So that's why the witnesses who are the ones who are going to be telling the truth or lying, the judgment for a death will be on their hands if they're lying. The witnesses must be the first to execute, and then all the people are to join after them. In this way, you will purge the evil from among you. So part of the reason for the stoning is because this person is worshiping other gods, and that is going to be an evil within the community, and you need to eliminate it. If, if a matter is too difficult for you to judge, bloodshed, legal claim, or assault, matters of controversy in your village, you must leave there and go up to the place your God has chosen. So if the locals can't figure it out, you leave there and you bring the case to the place God is choosing in his temple. You will go to the Levitical priest and the judge in office in those days and seek a solution. They will render a verdict. You will go to the judge in office in those days. Does this sound like the book of Judges, setting up the book of Judges? You'll go to the person who can decide, because otherwise people are doing whatever is right in their own eyes. You must then do as they have determined at the place the Lord chooses. Be careful to do just as you are taught. You must do what you are instructed, and the verdict they pronounce to you without fail. Do not deviate right or left from what they tell you. Okay, so if you're not familiar with the idea of veering to the right or the left, there is a path in which you are to walk. Your walk is your way of life. You are on a path. The path is the journey of your life. And so veering to the right or the left is veering off the path. It is going astray. It is wandering from the path of righteousness. So do not veer to the right or the left of the instructions that you are given. The person who pays no attention to the priest currently serving the Lord your God there, or to the judge, that person must die, so they will purge evil from the land. So again, purging evil from the land are people living contrary to the word of God or to the word of God's person who decides the verdict. So yeah, that's all cool and such, bro, that I should forgive my brother 70 times 7, but I'm not down with it. I'm not doing it. Ain't happening. Okay, now I'm living contrary to what the instructions are. I am evil in the land. I am going to fester and spread and cause other people to not follow God with their whole heart and soul and mind. So purging from the land is an important thing. Why? Because they're supposed to be a holy people. They're supposed to be a kingdom of priesthood. They're supposed to be set apart and different. Selfishness is not being set apart. Just saying. Just saying. Then all the people will hear and be afraid and not be so presumptuous again. So one of the things, too, these are to be deterrent. So when people hear, yeah, so-and-so told a lie over there, and they cast the first stone, and woo, you won't believe what happened. Zari, the straight and narrow. Yeah. Edgewax, hey, welcome in. Since everyone was expecting to participate in the stoning, a liar would implicate the entire community in murder. One who didn't participate wouldn't be participating and also be at risk. Oh, wouldn't be No, because the pronouncement would be done that this is what's supposed to happen. So that, but you take in case, so the guilt would be on the person throwing the first stone or the second, third stone. The three witnesses would be the first ones throwing, then everyone else participates in it. So in the same way that we could say in a modern system, when justice is ends up being wrong because somebody is wrongly convicted of a crime, we as a society aren't guilty of that because we carry out the justice that the judge hands down. So whatever that sentence is, if it's carried out, we as a society aren't guilty of it because we carried out the orders of the judge who pronounced judgment over the circumstance and situation. Ah, One Reason, welcome in. Welcome in, Raiders. So, hope that's making sense. We were just talking about justice. Edgewax was asking a question. So if that's not clear, Edgewax, ask again. So that's why they're putting the witnesses first. Because the witness knows they're the culprit for the person's death. So by having them go first, they are, in fact, the only ones with guilt on their hand. After you have 2 or 3 people throwing stones at the person bringing about their death, it's a matter of justice, and it's not a matter of guilt on the hands of everyone else. Because everyone else is not there with an intent to bring harm and bring injustice or thwart justice. So I hope that makes sense. Barking at the Raiders. That is a fascinating emote there. All right, Raiders, welcome in. We will be on the Church Digital podcast in just a while with One Reason. So, super excited to have you over here. One Reason. We'll be going for about a half an hour more, and then we will raid out to the fish and then raid back over, or we could raid over to you. Either way, we could raid back over to you. Queen, boop. So welcome in, Raiders. Those that do not know, I am Flat Cap Dapper Pastor. I have hats. I have fish. We read the Bible. That's what we've been doing. We're reading Deuteronomy right now and diving into that. The Mountain Dude, I was just thinking about you. You've been recovering for... you know what? I think I messaged you like 2 weeks ago because I hadn't seen or heard from you. I hope you're doing well, my friend. Hope you're well. So anyway... King's Foil speaks. King's Folly speaks. Thank you for the follow, friend. Beep, bop, boop. There's my normal schedule over there. I do have multiple channels. We'll be going over to the Church Digital for the podcast with One Reason. I have Fish Channel where that's 24/7. You were diagnosed with Chiari malformation, and it made daily life difficult. My daughter has Chiari malformation. There we go. One Reason at 10 a.m. over on the Church Digital channel. That's where we're going to be. So just about an hour from now. My friend over with BMG, Big Unk, is doing fasting and prayer this week for back to school. If you'd like to join and participate in that. I'm connected with Reach Conference. If you don't know what Reach Conference is, it's a bunch of streamers and people who watch streams getting together, Christian and non-Christian streamers and watchers, to gather together in person to have a blast, have fun, build relationships, foster and encourage one another. And tomorrow I'll be on the Church Digital with the podcast for Pastor Coco at noon. Pastor Coco of VR MMO Church. So yeah, oh yeah, for those that do not know, so basically back here, the Chiari malformation, back here where your brain goes into the spinal cord, your brain is leaking through the little gap in the skull and going in between. So my daughter has not had to have anything done with hers. Yeah, it's fighting over space, causing the worst headaches. You've even had a fall and lack of grip strength. Ooh, yeah, hers was noticed when something else was happening, and she doesn't have to do anything. But one of the things they can do is go in and cut some stuff. Ads came in. Sorry, I didn't see ads sneak in there.
Flat cat pastor ox's tweet, streaming life by the reeds. Fish pond calm and glassy clear, view it all right from here. Dapper man with sax in hand, plays tunes by his quiet land. Acoustic guitar in the breeze serenades the fish with ease. Watch the fish, they swim along to the rhythm of his song. Flat cat pastor shows the way, stream it live come what may. With his cam he shows it all, little fish both big and small. Life in pond so serene, nature's beauty
All right.
on a screen.
Should you just about back from the ads?
Watch the flow.
So, all right, so there are the fish. So upper right is the pond and waterfalls. Upper left is the guppies. Waiwis is in the lower left. He's my albino plecostomus. There's some koi. There's some guppies in there. Lower right is sunrise and sunset cams. Yeah, Mountain you will, yeah. That's one of the things that they will go in and take some of the skull out to make the opening bigger. So you have that on Wednesday, yes. Oh, so you just had that. You just had on Wednesday. Okay. It's in the Taco Discord? All right. All right, so those coming in, we're in Deuteronomy, and that Deuteronomy is a retelling of everything that's happened to the people being in slavery, coming out of slavery. Moses is giving them big, long recap everything of the past, of the present, and the instructions for the future. And so we're in the middle of that as they're going to go into the land. So that's where we're at. If you got questions as we go along, please ask, because you probably missed something that happened just before, or just or it's alluding to something maybe you don't know about. Woke up in so much pain you couldn't move your neck. If you can, save the surgery for last resort. Yeah, and with hers, she was diagnosed. She was having something else happen, and she was diagnosed. So she's been able to put it off for a long time at this point. I don't even remember how long she's been diagnosed. I want to say maybe 15 years at least. So, okay. And mods, if I forgot something, remind me. But let's try to get through one more section or so here before we get ready to do the podcast later. So. Yeah, and hers was she was having a scan for something else when they found it. Yeah, and it's yeah, recovery, definitely. Hoping those headaches are gone then. Okay. When you come to the land the Lord your God is giving you, and take it over and live in it, and then say, I will select a king like all the nations surrounding me. You must select without fail a king whom the Lord your God chooses. from among your fellow citizens. You must appoint a king. You must not designate a foreigner who is not one of your fellow Israelites. Moreover, he must not accumulate horses for himself or allow people to return to Egypt to do so. So not only can you not get horses, you can't let people go to Egypt to get horses. For the Lord has said, you must never again return that way. So you are never to go to Egypt and do business with Egypt. Your king ain't supposed to do business with Egypt. He's not supposed to have horses. Okay. Hey, thank you for the follow. I am not Michelle 22. Is that it, Michelle 22? Not sure. You can walk fine, still need help with showers so you don't get the incisions too wet. Yeah, that does make sense. And what if a wild horse from Egypt shows up by coincidence? How would you know it was from Egypt? You're not going down there as long as you're not accumulating them and adding to them, multiplying. Corgi Bug, welcome in. Happy Thorns, I'm keeping your surgery in prayer. Our God is good and faithful. His grace is sufficient, even among thorns that remain. Absolutely. Okay. Furthermore, he must not marry many wives, lest his affections turn aside, and he must not accumulate silver and gold. So what can you not have? Horses, wives, silver, and gold. I'm going to have a wealth, a fortress, all of those things. Yeah, must not multiply. Must not take many. I like multiply better. Not marry many wives, but yeah. You're grateful for what your father's given you? Yeah. You overthink things? I understand how that goes. So, here's warnings to the people. They're going to ask for a king. You're going to ask for a king. Make sure the king is following the straight and narrow. Don't go looking for other kings. Furthermore, they just did that. When he sits on his royal throne, he must make a copy of this law on a scroll given to him by the Levitical priest. So what is the first thing the king is to do? He is make a copy of this law. I'm going to guess it says this book. Or copy of this instruction. LXX reads the second law. That's what it is. Deuteronomy is the Greek name for the book. That's why I didn't find it when I went and looked up the Hebrew. So yeah, Eichmann here, if you're still lurking, that would be why. Deuteronomy is from the Greek for second law. Deuteronomy or second law. The second giving of the law is derived. So it was given on Sinai, and now Moses is reiterating it. So it is a copy of the law. The term here, Torah, probably refers only to the book of Deuteronomy and not the whole Pentateuch. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too, is that the king is to have a copy of Deuteronomy. He's supposed to know Deuteronomy, and he's supposed to have Deuteronomy. Mountain power corrupts. I've seen it. It starts mild enough, but in the end, you'll end up like Nero. I hope not. Nero was not that good of a guy, but I totally get you. Yes, absolute power corrupts absolutely. I always like that phrase. It must be with him constantly. So he's to constantly carry the book of Deuteronomy with him, and he must read it as long as he lives. So not only make a copy, you're to read it and continuously read it, so that he may learn to revere the Lord his God and observe all his words of this law and these statutes and carry them out. Then he will not exalt himself above his fellow citizens. Okay, what is the accumulation of wealth doing? Exalting yourself above your fellow citizens. Remember, there's not supposed to be any poor in the land. So you accumulating wealth is doing the opposite. Or turn to the commands to the right or left, straying from the straight and narrow, not following the way. This is the way. And he and his descendants will enjoy many years ruling over his kingdom in Israel. historically speaking, there's many examples, but he's the worst one of. Yes. He's one of the worst. Yes. He certainly is. And with a reputation of fiddling while Rome burned, you know, you're kind of a bad dude. All right. Bum, 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 bum. And we might be able to get to one more chapter. Let's see. The Levitical priests, indeed the entire tribe of Levi, will have no allotment or inheritance with Israel. They may eat the burnt offerings of the Lord and of his inheritance. So we've had this before. The Levites, you're to include them when you do the offerings. The Levite from your city is supposed to go with you to travel to the temple. So the priest will be in the temple, but the Levites themselves will get to participate. That's part of their inheritance. They don't get land. God is their inheritance. So everything given to God becomes their inheritance. They will have no inheritance in the midst of their fellow Israelites. The Lord alone is... Oh, I didn't know they were going to say it, but there it is. The Lord alone is their inheritance, just as he told them. This shall be the priest's fair allotment from the people who offer sacrifices, whether bull or sheep. They must give to the priest the shoulder, the jowl, and the stomach. So when the sacrifice is happening, here are the portions that the priests get. You must give them the best of your grain, new wine, and olive oil, as well as the best of your wool when you shear your flock. So all of the things that you are harvesting. For the Lord your God has given them and their sons from all your tribes to stand and serve in his name permanently. You've watched a lot of historical videos on YouTube, but apparently a first Nero actually had some good ideas and may have suffered from a tumor or something. Oh, at first. Yes. Yeah, I think I have heard that. I think I may have also heard that some of the Roman emperors, because of the behaviors that they have, may have also suffered from syphilis, because one of the signs or one of the side effects of suffering from syphilis is you lose your mind changes and you do things. So there's that. Okay. Okay. Suppose a Levite comes by his own free will from one of the villages, from any part of Israel where he is living, to the place the Lord chooses, and serves in the name of the Lord his God, like his fellow Levites who stand there before the Lord. He must eat the same share. Sorry, I lost my place. Same share they do, despite any profits he may gain from the sale of his family's inheritance. I'm banned, yes. Presumably, this would not refer to land inheritance, since that was forbidden for descendants. More likely, it refers to the family possessions or even support sent by relatives. So, when he goes to the temple, all of his stuff is not supposed to be connected. Oh, it was just a redeem for playing it. Nobody got banned. It'd be very hard to get banned around here. Bots do. Yes, they did ban Pastor Dustin and a whole bunch of others, not just Pastor Dustin. Yesterday was a banning day. There's a bunch of videos all over Twitter and TikTok of people talking about getting banned and trying to figure out what's going on. But essentially, it is people who are watching your stream who do not text or do not type in chat, don't do emojis, don't do anything, and bots, or the AI is thinking they're bots. So that's what it is. They're trying to scrub bots, and they swept up a bunch of streamers in the process. Okay. When you enter the land your God is giving you, you must not Learn the abhorrent practices of those nations. You must never be found among any one who sacrifices his son or daughter in the fire. Anyone who practices divination, an omen reader, a soothsayer, a sorcerer, or one who casts spells, one who conjures up spirits, a practitioner of the occult, or a necromancer. So these are all things happening in the land. You're not to learn from them. You're not to do them. Yeah, you understand both sides, but you're on good pastor side. Yeah, absolutely. I think there are inherent benefits of being a smaller streamer. I don't think I register enough on Twitch for that matter. Still, that's a travesty. Yeah. Corgi. Okay, gotta go to work. Have a blessed day, and have the Lord keep you and guide you in all things. Thank you, Corgi. Have a wonderful day. Yeah, so the AI that Twitch is using is revolting against lurkers and bots, yes. Well, it might be the enemy using it to advantage if it was only a few Christians that had gotten banned. But there are lots of people that got the ban hammer yesterday. So, whoever does these things is abhorrent to the Lord. So, we just had, we looked up our word abhorrent. These are things that are detestable. They are not pleasing in the sight of. So, sacrificing your children, divination, omens, soothsayers, sorcerers, casting spells, conjuring spirits, practicing the occult, necromancers. All of these things have to do with practices that have to do with worshiping other gods. So no wonder all of these things are listed in that. They all are practices connected to worshiping other gods, other spirits, people from the things, divine beings from the spiritual realm. And because of these detestable things, the Lord your God is about to drive them out from before you. So because they're doing these things, that's why they're losing the land. Don't forget they do these things. That's why they're losing the land. Don't do the things that got them booted. Like, you know, we should learn that. Like, if you're at a party and some people get booted from the party, don't do the same thing that got them booted from the party. You're at a concert, people get booted from the concert. Don't try to get away with what they got booted from the concert for. Like, hello, McFly. Mountain, have a feeling the enemy... Oh, yes. I'm watching. This is one of the many reasons you're not a fan of AI. When humans try and use tech to improve the world, that's a boon. When you do it out of laziness and trying to be trendy, it's messy. Well, I don't know if they're trying to be trendy. I think that the task is too much for humans to fully do, and the system they came up with, bots don't have discretion, is what's causing the problem. Christianity as a whole managed a huge feat in converting groups like the Vikings. Yeah, my Mountain, absolutely. Yep. Okay. So those nations are about to dispossess, listen to omen readers, and diviners, but the Lord your God has given you permission, not given you permission to do such things. So it's not because these things don't work that God says don't do them. It's because he's not giving you permission, because that's not from me. That's from someone else. Don't go and listen to them. Only serve and follow me. That's the difference. The Lord your God will raise up for you a prophet like me from among you, from your fellow Israelites. You must listen to him. So don't go listen to these others trying to tap into the divine realm. I think it's just a matter of, it's just a matter of listen to me and my prophets. That's it. This accords with what happened at Hebron in the day of the assembly. You ask the Lord your God, please do not make us hear the voice of the Lord our God anymore, or see his great fire anymore, lest we die. The Lord then said to me, what they have said is good. I will raise up a prophet like you for them from among their fellow Israelites. I will put my words in his mouth, and he will speak to them whatever I command. I will personally hold responsible anyone who then pays no attention to the words that prophet speaks in my name. Okay, so there is a prophet going to be like Moses. One of the things that we see in the New Testament is the number of times that they're trying to set the stage of saying that Jesus is a prophet like Moses, when he's always up on the mountaintop, when he's doing the Sermon on the Mount. Those are all things and markers and pointers to him being the prophet like Moses. You feel like you could do this with sock puppets for younger kids. That's funny. Tomorrow, welcome in. But if, if any prophet presumes to speak anything in my name that I have not authorized him to speak, or speaks in the name of other gods, that prophet must die. So this sounds really similar to some of the commands there about stoning people that are worshiping the other gods. Bedhead? No, he's got cap head. There we go. Cap head. Now, if, if you say to yourselves, how can we tell that a message is not from the Lord? Whenever a prophet speaks in my name and the prediction is not fulfilled, then I have not spoken. That prophet has presumed to speak it, so you need not fear him. Oh, wow. We're 19. When the Lord your God destroys the nations whose land he is about to give you, and you dispossess them and settle in the cities and houses, you must set apart for yourself 3 cities in the middle of your land that the Lord your God is giving you to possess. 3 cities. Interesting. Interesting. You got a flat cap for yourself? Dude, that's awesome. Yeah, you need to go make breakfast for your meds? Gotcha. So 3 cities in the middle. You shall build a roadway and divide into thirds the whole extent of your land that the Lord your God is providing as your inheritance. Anyone who kills another person should flee to the closest of these cities. Now this is a law pertaining to one who flees there in order to live. You can't wear a traditional hat without messing up your stitches. Oh yeah, so the flat cap was a happy medium, yeah. If he has accidentally killed another without hating him at the time of the accident. Suppose he goes with someone to the forest to cut wood, and when he raises the axe to cut the tree, the axe head flies loose from the handle and strikes his fellow worker so hard that he dies. The person responsible may then flee to one of the cities to save himself. Otherwise, the blood avenger will chase after the killer in the heat of his anger, eventually overtaking and kill him. Though this is not a capital case, since he did not hate him at the time of the accident. Therefore, I am commanding you to set apart for yourselves 3 cities. If the Lord your God enlarges your border as he promised your ancestor and gives you all the land he pledges to them, and then you are careful to observe all these commands I am giving you today, namely, to love the Lord your God and to always walk in his ways, then you must add 3 more cities. So you have to start with 3, and then you can expand to 3 more. Yes, shoddy tools, exactly. You must not shed innocent blood in the land the Lord your God is giving you as an inheritance, for that would make you guilty. So this is an accident that you get to flee. You don't get to flee to a city because you intentionally killed someone. No, murder doesn't count. Manslaughter does. However, suppose a person hates someone else and stalks him, attacks him, kills him, and then flees to one of the cities. The elders of that city must send for him and remove him from there to deliver him over to the blood avenger to die. So this is like the person who is going to make sure justice happens. It's funny phrasing, blood avenger, but your blood was spilled, your blood must be avenged. You must not pity him, but purge from Israel the guilt of shedding innocent blood, so that it may go well with you. You must not encroach on your neighbor's property, which will have been defined in the inheritance you will obtain in the land the Lord your God is giving you. Okay, so we have just gone from accidental murder to theft. A single witness may not testify against another person for any trespass or sin that he commits. A matter must be legally established only on the testimony of 2 or 3. 2 or 3, again, we're back to 2 or 3. If a false witness testifies against another person and accuses him of a crime, then both parties to the controversy must stand before the Lord, that is, before the priest and judges who will be in office in those days. The judges will thoroughly investigate the matter, and if the witness should prove to be false and to have given false testimony against the accused, you must do to him what he had intended to do to the accused. In this way, you will purge the evil from among you. So, you get some people with false accusations. What are they hoping for? They're hoping for the death penalty. You know what you get? You get the death penalty. That's what you were trying to perpetrate on someone else. You wished them dead. That's what you get in return. The rest of the people will hear and become afraid to keep doing such evil among you. You must not show pity. The principle will be a life for a life, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, a hand for a hand, and a foot for a foot. Okay, again, this is not about retribution. This is about limitation. Maybe you've never seen that before. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Okay, so you take my eye, I take yours back. You took my tooth, I take yours back. Okay, it's meant to limit retribution. So if we go back to Tubal-Cain, and maybe you don't know that name, but he says, I killed a man for striking me, and a young man for insulting me. I think that's what it is. Something along those lines. So you got insulted and you killed the person. That is not an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. That is overkill. Okay? So, you probably have this in games from time to time where you accidentally harm someone that's on your team or on the opposing team, and then they repay you again and again and again and again for the one incident that you did that was an accident, and they just keep repaying you again and again. That's what we're talking about here, is the overdoing it. That this is meant to set a limit on retribution. So, you steal $100 from me, I don't get to sue you and take $1 million from you. That doesn't work, okay? You pay back the 100. There's also some other places later where we'll talk about the repaying of things and that, so that there's fairness and equality and equity and all of those kinds of things. All right, let's stop there. So we'll go through 19. And we'll raid out over to the fish channels so that we can raid back over to the podcast. So, yeah, we got a little bit of time there. So I don't want to cut it too close in case it takes a minute for one reason to make sure he's all set up for the podcast. So, all right. Oh, you know what? We'll go ahead and do the 10:02 prayer and blessing. So, God, we're just praying for workers for the harvest. The harvest is plentiful and the workers are few. So we're praying for other people to come into the space, because when people like Pastor Dewson are kicked out, there are still people who need to hear and know the good news. So raise up more people for the harvest, workers in Twitch, in TikTok, on Facebook, and other places where people are far away from you. Let's pray this in Jesus' name. Amen. And now receive a blessing. May God seeking comfort find you. May his loving arms bind you. May his might protect you. May his wisdom direct you. May the joyous love of Jesus Christ be with you and all those you know, both now and forevermore. Amen. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Hey, Ghost, welcome in. Thank you, Raiders. So amazing. Having a couple of raids. We're going to go right over to the fish. The fish will just hold you until I get the podcast up and running, and then we will come right back over here today, and we'll be doing the podcast on the Church Digital channel with One Reason. So thank you, everyone. Have a super blessed day.
Flat cap on his head, he's streaming live. Reading from the book, the word so alive. A prayer in his heart that lifts the soul. In the digital world where spirits roll. Hallelujah, from the screen we scream. Join the pastor in the holy dream, spreading love with every verse he reads, planting hope like precious seeds. He's a shepherd with a virtual flock, leading us to faith around the clock. Tapping amen as we raise our hands in this sacred digital land. Don't need a pew to find the light. Through a screen he's shining bright, preaching peace and guiding us right. In our hearts his fire ignites. Hallelujah, from the screen we scream. Join the pastor in the holy dream, spreading love with every verse he reads, planting hope like precious seeds. Chat is buzzing with the gospel truth.